Hey, forgot to turn my music off, man. Hang on. Where is it? Hey, I know no one's up. Who would be up at this ungodly hour on draft night? I know no one's talked to about it. I just got back a few hours ago. My internet's crazy, so I'm probably talking like this on stream. This is what I can do for now. I just kind of wanted to get my head around what had happened while I'd been gone. Take a look at the draft picks and offer up some first thoughts. I tweeted out mostly negative things, of course. That's just always. But I always kind of don't. We always kind of feel disappointed with the draft when we first see it. So first thoughts aren't necessarily the best ones, but I'm going to give you what I got so far. All right. Let's just go through it. I guess I'm not looking to belabor this, and I know you can't see this very well here, but you know what they are, right? You know who took who. This is mostly for me. Let's see here. So Joe Burrow went to the Bengals. To no one's surprise, I think. Bengals aren't a smart enough team to roll over the Capitol. And frankly, if you have a QB you're really certain of 101, I'm not too against it. I do like the Sashi Brown mold of drafting. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not going to fault him for it. I think it's good news for everyone on the roster. It's good news for AJ Green. It's good news for Tyler Boyd. QBs aren't exactly in their first year going to light an offense on fire, but from everything I know, and I'm not a QB guy, Burrow is great and looks ready. So as smooth as it can be, it will be probably for Burrow. I don't mind that at all. Hey, John, what are you doing up, man? Seriously. But glad to have you in here. Someone is alive. Look at that. Chase Young, I have no thoughts on ADP. I know I should. I just don't. As well as most of fantasy Twitter. We'll ask Tom Kisslingberry what he thinks about this stuff. Next one is Tua to the Dolphins. That kind of surprises me. Dolphins normally don't get that lucky, right? Yeah, I like that for the Dolphins. It's probably going to make it harder to buy Gesicki, Preston Williams, and who's the other fella? Devontae Parker. I was talking with, hey, Alex, you're alive too. You're on the clock. Oh, dang. Yeah, let me know what you got left. I'm just talking about Tua. He went 5 to the Dolphins. Yeah, I love it for the Dolphins. I think he's great. I don't know if he's going to play in his first year, but neither did Mahomes, apart from that one game, I really like Tua. He's still probably got the edge over me over Burrow, but let's face it, Burrow is more likely to play. Go with Burrow, it's fine. I'm not the QB guy. I'm more interested in. I've been speculating Miami players a little bit, so I'm really excited to see. Their value is probably going to go up a little bit, not enough to scare me off. First reaction, I really hope you got Mike Gesicki last year when I was championing him. And if I've kept him on any of my teams, I'm really excited about that. Not because he's a tight end and this is a rookie QB, just because he's a good player who did well in his second year. And there are so few of those at tight end. What else? Oh, Preston Williams. Yeah, maybe a little more hope there. We said, not 2 top 24 wide receivers isn't going to happen with what they had. I really like Tua. I keep saying I'm not a QB guy, and I'm not. But from the little I do know, Tua's really good. And I know Burrow had the season to end all seasons, but I'm just saying, I really like that kid. Alex, John, and Crossover, how you doing? I would have thought the Dolphins would mess it. The only way they could have messed it up is either not taking Tua or not trading down, though. Either I would be fine with just as general draft strategy, but hey, they didn't have to tank for Tua. Of course, they sucked anyway, but they got him. And I'm entirely unsurprised the Giants didn't trade out of 4 because that would have been the smartest move in the history of ever. Dynasty Best Ball. Who's on the clock, man? Alex. Alex is in a draft right now, of course. Dynasty Best Ball, Superflex, Tight End Premium. Nice. Let me figure out who else is where. But ask away if you've got someone you're thinking about. Justin Herbert went to the Chargers. Again, this is where I do my refrain of I'm not a QB guy. A lot of people seem to like Herbert. Chargers definitely like him, taking him at 6. He has immense Superflex value. Since you're in a Superflex, I will say that I just take quarterbacks, man. I do think, and I'm getting to it here. Let's just skip to it. I think the 101 in 1QB leagues is Clyde Edwards-Helaire right now, and I know there's going to be a lot of humming and hawing about it, and I get it. But look, think about it this way: is there a better landing spot? No. Is there better draft capital? No. Can any running back in this draft have either of those things above Clyde Edwards-Helaire? No. Which are the two most important things for running backs in terms of predictiveness and fantasy points? Those two things. Okay, it's Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I don't mind fading it. I don't want to draft Clyde Edwards-Helaire right now. My first reaction is, okay, I hope I don't have the 101 everywhere, which I don't, because I'm really nervous about that. But he had a great season last year. Lots of people love him. The Chiefs clearly love him. It's going to be more of a committee, but that's just running back value right there. There's going to be no one that gets a better landing spot or draft capital. And those are the two things that matter most for running backs. Now, Jonathan Taylor, the other running backs, are probably going to land, hopefully some of them are going to land in good places, so we'll think they'll still get opportunity. So it is fair to think there's going to be that smorgasbord at the top, but right now we don't know that. So if you're doing ranks right now, Clyde Edwards-Helaire has to be one. Especially in a super flex draft, Alex, take Burrow, take Tua, take your favorite. It's fine. I still lean Tua, but I don't know, but I've been told he's probably not going to play. Burrow's probably the value pick, and either's fine. Either looks like as good as we can hope for a rookie QB, you know? So that's the top of my Superflex board. It's just quarterbacks. And I might put a running back over Herbert, since I now know he went to the Chargers. But you're fine to take Herbert too. You can just take those 3 QBs before you take anyone else. It's just, they don't get any cheaper. And you need them in Superflex, especially the way I draft teams. If I'm in a rookie draft, I've normally left QB late, so I'm happy to pick them up in rookie drafts. But let's see. You said your team is Lamar, Miller, Murray, pretty stocked at quarterback, but you need a third. Taysom Hill ain't it. Drake, Gordon, good to see that you have terrible running backs. Hopkins, Marvin Jones, nice. Bourne, yeah. Word up to Kendrick Bourne ownership. Josh Gordon, really? Okay, he's still on rosters. I get it. Also Rudolph, Boyle. Oh yeah, that's nasty. That's nasty. Yeah, I'd take quarterback if they're available. Man, you need as much value as possible on that roster. I know you've got Hopkins. The top of your QBs are great. Top of your wide receiver is great. That one guy. The rest, you got to work on the rest. So you need value. Would be my thought. And I would probably trade Lamar if I could get the world for him and trade Hopkins, just looking at that team. And I'd take a QB with the same thing in mind. If they're available. If not, I don't know. Let me find out who's, drafted where. Yeah, he's actually on the clock. At the 101, take Burrow, take Tua, take your favorite. I'm not the QB guy. I lean Tua, but I really think just general common sense in a rookie draft, you got to take Burrow. I'm going to have fun with my fun, but as advice, I'd say you've got to take Burrow. Just got to. Not only is he more likely to play, not only is he probably an equal if, I have a preference for Tua, but he's also going to play with AJ Green. No matter what you think of him, he's better than, easily 64 other wide receivers in the NFL, no matter what he is now. And Tyler Boyd's better than all but 24 other wide receivers in the NFL. So, he can't have a nicer start to his career. It's the Bengals, but they can fuck up anything. But Burrow's got to be 101 in Superflex. For me, rank Swift, Taylor, and Clyde. I don't know where those other two are going to go, but right now it has to be Clyde, Taylor, Swift. That's where they're ranked right now for me. Clyde would be 1 because he has the 2 best things going for any running back that we can hope for. And no one in this draft can have better landing spot or better draft capital. Now, I say that, and then Jonathan Taylor will wound up in a landing spot I never even thought of, and it'll be great. And Taylor will be a competitive one. But, Clyde got perfection. That's as much as we could ever hope for him, and that last year was great, and that's fine for a running back. So Clyde's 1 right now. He just has to be. Hey, Matt Williams, I am too late to cry about Jordan Love. I don't even know where Jordan Love's gone yet, Matt, but no, by all means, cry away. I thought this was going to be a quick, hey, J Mike, everyone's awake at 2 a.m. I am really surprised. Why am I up so late? Because I got off work a couple of hours ago, man, and I was just trying to figure out what happened in the NFL draft. That's why I'm up. Where are we? I just got to the Herbert pick. He's 103 in Superflex in one quarterback leagues. He's now a late second round pick. Take that value. Okay. You guys probably know this, but can you see that wonder right there? Oh my God, that is absolutely amazing. Henry Ruggs, not only the Wybris. What the hell's going on here? Whoa. Henry Ruggs went first wide receiver overall, and he went to the Raiders. Wonderful. Guys, I don't know what's happening. My computer's broke. I tried to zoom in and everything went crazy. Give me a second here. Well, this was all fun. There we go. Okay, we're just getting rid of this. Let me see here. Henry Ruggs, wide receiver 1 to Oakland. Here's the thing, though. Gruden keeps doing stuff that I honestly think is stupid. It kind of works out. I'm not saying he's a good coach. I think he's made bad decision after bad decision, but he kind of has made a lot of things work that I said shouldn't have. So maybe I shouldn't throw too much shade at it. Henry Ruggs is going to be good. I think he had a better version of Henry Ruggs on his team already in Tyrell Williams. Not an exact version, but Tyrell Williams plays that role. He's going to be a late first round pick in one quarterback leagues because he went in the first round. I've done my due diligence. I'm not going to take him. Unless you let him fall to 112 and everyone else is gone and I have to, I'm going to probably try and trade that pick like crazy and then I'm going to draft him. I mean, that's just have to respect the kid. I tell you what, I don't do comps at all, but every now and again I find a perfect one. I think Henry Ruggs could be what some people hoped John Ross could be. Now, John Ross hasn't played in the NFL at this point, let's face it, but he's never going to be much at this point. Good NFL player, maybe, if he can stay healthy. But he never had that upside. I never thought. But some people really liked John Brown. I don't think Ruggs looks like John Brown. I think he looks like what people hoped John Brown looked like, and he never did. So that's my positivity. That was my whole positivity argument for Henry Ruggs. Like, he's a playmaker, a lot of touchdowns. He's got all the speed in the world. But yeah. J Mike, did you disappear? Did you just come in to make me feel good and then disappear? I appreciate that, man. Hey-o. And Matt as well. Great. Yeah. What do you guys think of Henry Ruggs and the Raiders? I think it's probably a really good landing spot for him. John Gruden's going to love him. He's going to want to play him. Draft capital, all that stuff going for him. I don't see it. But I mean, I could see it. I'm just not. It's not my kind of player, But all the luck in the world to him. That's fantastic. So both Alabama receivers went off the board before anyone else. That's fun to know. Where am I? Yeah, there we go. So Jerry Jeudy is going to be a Bronco. And CeeDee Lamb's going to be a Cowboy. Okay. All right. Let me say this as graphically as possible. NFL GMs literally just cut the tip of their dicks off. They're like, you like those guys upside? They're great players. I think they're great players. We were already worried a little bit about their ceiling. they've got better wide receivers in front of him, man. Cortland Sutton. It's a little much to say Cortland Sutton's better than Judy, but he plays a better fantasy role, would be my guess, first thought. And Amari Cooper's, I love CeeDee Lamb, but I was worried about that ceiling. And with Amari Cooper there, either they're both going to be top 12 or CeeDee Lamb's going to be the less fantasy, not the lesser player, lesser fantasy asset, especially year 1, year 2. You can't force 2 top 24 wide receivers. Have you ever looked back at the teams that have had 2 top 24 wide receivers or 2 top 12? Like even with Mike Evans and Godwin, like that took 2 years, and no one saw it, apart from Scott Barrett and a few others, really were willing to lay it on their line and say Godwin can be a top 12 guy as well. In fact, when they said it, they thought Mike Evans might fall, if I remember right. You can't force that kind of thing. It's the kind of thing that develops. I mean, CeeDee Lamb's good enough to get there. I mean, why are teams in a deep draft class saying I need to stock up on the positions I'm already rich at? What? Come on, man. I kind of hate both those landing spots. I mostly hate it because CeeDee Lamb, he's going to kill Gallup. And it's not because Gallup isn't good. It's because teams love draft capital. It's that simple. And that's probably what turned Gallup's career into a quarter of what he's shown himself capable of. Why would you do that? Poor guy, man. He can't have done any more. And what I said before was I'm getting Tyrell Williams, who I just mentioned on the Raiders as well, who just got it happen to him again, and Cameron Meredith, who the league just gave up on because he got injured. Maybe he was too injured, but I think the league just doesn't go back to no draft capital guys. It's really bad for Gallup. CeeDee Lamb's going to get the shot. I mean, he's great. But he doesn't play like Gallup, and that's the way Gallup had to play to get into the top 24 behind Amari Cooper, who's a volume suck. CeeDee Lamb looks more like a volume player than an efficiency guy. I don't know. I know, man. I don't like those landing spots, but I still like both of those players. They'll still be in my top three wide receivers, probably. Justin Jefferson makes that hard. I kind of want Justin Jefferson going to Minnesota in my top 3. That's great. They're trying to replace Stephon Diggs. Again, you can't force that either, but Justin Jefferson, they may have struck lucky here because James really think he can force it. Is my impression. Justin Jefferson's going to be good. I kind of feel like that discount on Adam Thielen's going to be really unrated this year. Justin Jefferson can do it year 1, maybe. I don't know. I think that's fine for Justin Jefferson. The teams taking wide receiver here seem to think that they decide if they have 2 top 24 wide receivers, and they don't. You can't force that. Luckily, all these guys are really good, so maybe they can do it for them anyway, but I kind of hate rich wide receiver teams trying to force it. Like, it's just... Can we get some good decision makers on any teams anyway? Jalen Reagor being in my top 2 wide, actually, he might rise to 1. That's my first reaction. I already saw more ceiling with him anyway. And the Philadelphia Eagles have proved time and time again they suck at this, but every now and again a blind squirrel catches a nut, and they just caught the fucking mother load as far as I can see. He's not moving down, and he's already at 2. That's what I'm going to say about Jalen Reagor. I'll see how I feel about the other guys after I let that sit for a while. Brandon Ayuk, someone's going to make the mistake, and San Francisco have done it 3 years in a row now. They've proved they can't identify the best players in the class. And I know Deebo Samuel is a lot better than I thought he could be. No, he's about as good as I hoped his ceiling was. And we were already seeing a lot of people realize he wasn't a top 12 guy this offseason. They're a team that likes to draft skills and think they're smart enough to decide when and where to use every player. But if players don't hit that every time they give them I don't want anything to do with Brandon Ayuk, first round draft capital or not. Nope. Enjoy your new Dante Pettis, but with a different skill set. If you want Brandon Ayuk, no. Green Bay Packers are moving on from Aaron Rodgers, apparently. Nice. I'd have to check. Like I say, I'm not a big QB guy, but I'm pretty sure being drafted late round 1 is no better than being drafted round 2 or 3 for a quarterback. Like, it's not that big a predictor. Like, draft pick kind of matters when you get to quarterback. It's a late first round pick, but it's more fun than anything. Aaron Rodgers isn't going anywhere. I think they've basically just wasted the first 2 years of Jordan Love's career. Again, well, I know teams don't have to think about the player as much as they pretend to be a family and shit, but like, you're destroying the players on your depth chart who've done well for you. Michael Gallup, sorry, fuck you. You're never having a good career. Why? When he can do it. You didn't need to invest. Anyway. And Jordan Love, hope you enjoy starting your career in year 3. I mean, why would you fucking do that to a guy? Even if they want to move on, he's not going to get... All right. They make millions. What would I know? And yeah, then that's it, right? Then we get to Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who's the new 101. It's not a 101 I want, but he's a 101 for right now. John, you're telling me that Kyle Shanahan acknowledged that it was a mistake. That's what that says to me. Like, hey, I made this mistake 2 years ago. Really enjoyed it. Does this guy need permanent motivation as well? Like, maybe if you get 2 done. And to be clear, Pettis, I don't understand Shanahan. He's an offensive genius, obviously. There is nothing alike about those 2 players. And again, I don't talk skill sets or tape, so maybe you want to correct me on, the way they make breaks or the way they play, but that guy's a speed guy. That guy was a volume guy. That guy was below average every year of his career. Ayuk had 2 fucking terrible years and 1 good spike year. That's polar opposite from the way I evaluate. Like, that's nothing alike. Unless he's comparing their likelihood of not breaking out in the NFL for fantasy, I don't understand the similarity there. But, Shanahan makes millions and he's a head coach and he's an offensive genius. So I'm just concerned with fantasy. I'm sure he'll put it to great use on the field. That'll be great for the 49ers and Jimmy Garoppolo, the same way Dante Pettis has been. I guess that's what he's saying. He's trying to overcorrect the mistake of Pettis. Well, he had a rich J-Mike. That's a really, really smart thought and funny. But it's like he walked up to a barrel of fish with a shotgun and managed to miss the barrel. That's what he did. If that's what he was trying to do. Like, he didn't just miss the barrel. He shot his wife, who wasn't even at the fucking barrel. Like, she was at home, and somehow the bullet looped back over and killed someone he cares about. Like, you can get a lot of great punt returners in round 5, and I'm not even joking. They traded up. Oh, I even missed that. I wasn't even looking at the NFL. This tracker doesn't tell you. It's really bad. Don't you like how much space they give you to actually read the website? It's like 2/3 of the page is their ad. Like, just show me the webpage, dude. They traded up. Oh, they traded up to do it. That's good, because they could have got Ayuk like 2 rounds later or a better version of him. KJ Hamler is literally about a million times better version of what some people think Brandon Ayuk is. And I don't mean to throw shade at... I'm talking fantasy. Like, this kid's probably amazing. I mean, he's incredibly fast. Like, I wish him luck in the NFL. Like, I fucking hate the way we have to talk about these guys. And that's the other thing the GMs do to us, man. They make us sound so negative about... I'm really big fan of players. What did they trade for him? Didn't they trade up to get Pettis as well? I mean... He must be an offensive genius, because I've never seen him make a smart move in the draft or in a trade. He's made every wrong move really, really badly, and they're doing well. So his offensive scheme makes up for a lot of ills, man. I don't know. Yeah, that's a draft. I'm pretty much very steady on Lamb, very steady on Judy, very steady on Jefferson. Ayuk, very steady in that I don't want him. Good luck. Ruggs feel pretty much the same. I will take him at value. I will take him because he's got first round draft capital and he's an interesting player in college. I still don't see it. But I'm going to respect the draft capital because he was one hell of a player for that team, even as a 3 in Alabama, and I got to respect that. Jalen Reagor is the only one I got maybe more excited about. The Eagles, honestly, I know people love the idea of going to the Eagles, but they haven't been good for 2 years. Like, I'm starting to worry about their ability to be offensive geniuses. But Jalen Reagor is a very special player, and he's gone to a place that obviously desperately wants a new wide receiver that they keep swinging. What did they trade? The Vikings traded the 25th pick in 2020. San Francisco 49ers traded the 31st and the 117th. So the Minnesota Vikings got more rich in this draft, basically, from it. Easy win. Man, good for the Vikings. They had a solid draft. Jake should be happy. Let's see here. Got Justin Jefferson, which you got to be happy about, right, J-Mike? Stefon Diggs has got to be one of the most common comps for him, right? And I get it. I just hate it when this guy is like this guy, so he can easily replace. You can't replace Stefon Diggs. Stefon Diggs took 2-3 years to become Stefon Diggs and was never a top 12 wide receiver. And he's a great player. And so is Justin Jefferson. Again, I kind of like that Adam Thielen discount right now because Jefferson, just on average for rookies, they don't get it done in their first year. It's going to take a while. Just respect the player. Let him get used to the NFL. Meanwhile, Adam Thielen's still in prime. Anyway, this is what I was making just before I went to work, and I just about got it out in time. I'll show you guys this, just in case you hadn't. I've inserted the draft round into it. Here we go. It just looks up the hit rates for wide receivers. It's based on their breakout age, whether a 20 or a 30% threshold. The percentage of players with those breakout ages at those thresholds to get top 12 or top 24 wide receiver seasons. So Brandon Ayuk, his first round draft capital improved in 14% chance of getting a first round season. So it's not impossible. Interestingly, that's weird. I got to check that look up. No breakout age of 21 has ever done it. Huh. You have to check that look up. Anyway, and as you can see, Reagor didn't, he's not got better odds than Judy or Jefferson, but there's no bad odds here. Maybe he's not on top 12 wide receiver according to the 20 threshold, but he's the only one that got maybe a little bit of a bump based on his draft. Judy still looks good. I mostly forgive this 30% threshold because of, playing on Alabama and stuff, because he was close enough. He still gets a 33% chance of being in top 24. Jefferson looks great too. Yeah, first drafting just based on likelihood, it'd be Reagor, then Jefferson, then Lamb, then Judy, then Ruggs. And yeah, I actually inserted running backs into this. I hadn't done that before the draft, but I just did it now. Now, the running backs hit rates are just based on draft round, so just pure draft round. So being drafted in the first round, literally 83% of players drafted in the first round, apart from Penny, have a top 24 season at least. Top 12 is about 60% likelihood. Again, I made this quick, so I wouldn't be surprised if someone tells me I've got my lookups a little wrong, but I think it's pretty solid. No problem, Alex. Seriously, I'd hit QB early and often in a super flex. Burrow is probably who you should take. If you can trade down for a little extra to 102 and then get Tua, I'd be happy. But you don't need to. You don't need to risk it. Burrow's clearly the pick. Yeah, and CD's great. And CD's going to be great for Dallas as well. But I didn't need him. It's just disappointing. I don't want to say get too negative on it as my first reaction, but like Amari Cooper's going to be a 1 pretty clearly next year. Hell, maybe CD can overcome Amari Cooper, but Amari Cooper's never been anything but good. Again, you could say the same about Mike Evans. They're all very different players. So I don't see how those two skill sets work well together. But, there you go. Herbert versus CE. Yeah, that's where the question comes in, J Mike. In Superflex, I might jump a running back, whoever's at the top of your board. And honestly, Alex, I love the degenerates. But this is the risk and also the reward of drafting early. Because if Jonathan Taylor goes to a great place tomorrow, then, it might become more of a 1A, 1B situation. Same with Swift. So for right now, I would stick with safety. If I was drafting right now, like Alex, I'd probably take Herbert. But I think CEH comes in at 3. In a super flex, it goes Burrow to a CEH, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. We got to come up with a nickname for that guy now. I can't keep saying all that. And then it goes Herbert in super flex off the top of my head. My friend today said that the best receiver between Ruggs, Judy, and Lamb was a toss-up. Yeah, I strongly disagree, but everyone's allowed their opinion. There are a lot of people, and I'm getting to take season now, so I should stop doing this reasonable shit, that prospect a different way than I do and have just as good, if not better, hit rates that love Ruggs. Like, it's not like it's stupid or anything, but I'm going to bet on what I can see and prove. And what I can see and prove is that Lamb is clearly better than Judy, who's clearly a little bit. And then both of them are like worlds apart from Ruggs. But I can see, and that's why I wrote that positive argument, I can see how he just is different. I could see that we look back and we're saying that about Ruggs. Look, he was on a team with Jerry Jeudy, who's on a team where he was just scoring touchdowns a lot more than he was producing yards. He was a playmaker. He had the speed. I can see how we could be saying that in a few years. But when it comes to my team and my fun, I'm going to bet on what I can see and what I can prove. And I can't prove Ruggs as any of those things. And you could say that's because he doesn't compare to many players because his situation is way too particular. And that's where the possibility comes in. So I'm not going to let him fall out my first thought of a rookie draft. If I'm at 112 and he's there, I'm taking him. Probably. As long as Rager isn't there. And, the rest of the really good's drafted sensibly. But yeah, I would take Lamb, Judy, Rager over Ruggs. It's going to be hard for me not to put Rager at 1 now. Again, that's my first reaction from this draft. Wide receiver 1. CEH for right now, he's 1 overall. Just is. And Stompy was asking about it on Twitter, and I get it. And like I said, Jonathan Taylor and Swift could both go to great spots, and that makes it more of a top 3 again, right? And or Cam Akers for that matter. But I don't know that yet, and I know no one can jump CEH at this point. Like, there's no better landing spot, and no one can get first-round draft capital, and those are the 2 best things for a running back. So, like, no one can jump him. They can equal him. I don't know they can jump him because we can't tell that much from college, or I can't tell that much from running backs from what they did in college. So, yeah, I don't think they can clearly jump him. They can equal him, maybe edge ahead with the right landing spot on day 2, but or day 3. But I don't think they can jump him. Why is everyone up? Happy to see you, but like, am I missing a party somewhere? I gotta go check, man. I just closed my name web browser. Look at that. Like, I know DLF was doing a live chat. I thought it would have been over by now, but maybe I should have checked. You can reply. Tell them you'll take that bet. Make some extra money. Again, honestly, as much as funny as that is, I think the Raiders probably a really good spot for Henry Ruggs to land. I was speculating on the crossroads that he needed a lower draft spot. He needed a worse landing spot with bad wide receivers that he could compete with a little more fairly. But and Tyrell Williams is not a bad wide receiver in the slightest. But it's certainly not a thick depth. It's not a girthy depth chart, you know. Darren Waller is going to be the volume monster there, which is fine. That's not Ruggs' game. So between depth chart, draft capital, and the fact that team with who's at the head of it and the way they play, they're going to want to give. They're going to want. They're going to want to get Ruggs involved. I think that's all great stuff for the Ruggs. And again, goes to why I wouldn't let him drop out the first. I want Rager, I want Judy, I want Jefferson. But that's if you were looking for a good landing spot for Ruggs, I think that was it, right? In the first round, at least. I'm trying to see if anyone else is live. Maybe I could jump in somewhere. If everyone's up. Yeah, it doesn't look like anyone's talking. Hey, crossover. Yeah, Ayuk, I'd be happy to let drop out the first round. No. And again, Henry Ruggs and Ayuk's profiles are almost just as terrible. In fact, Ayuk is a little better. At least he broke out. At least he had one good season, right? But that's the thing. There's a nuance to this stuff. And when you dig into both players, like I'm not just taking the surface stuff. When you dig into both players, Ayuk, no. I cannot make excuses for Ayuk. And again, coming off 2019, how many players I like did I get wrong? So I'm not saying it's ironclad or nothing, but again, I'm gonna bet on what I can see and what I can prove, and I'm sure he'll be a great NFL player, and I'm really rooting for him, obviously, but yeah. I think the 49ers think they're smarter than everyone, and maybe they are, but it's you don't have to do that. You don't have to put that so much on your players to be smarter than everyone, to have a good offense. Like you can get a guy who's actually better than most with that skill set. You don't have to go for the guy who's just got that skill. They play it weird. Everything they do, they play weird. When am I talking Jordan Love? And like I say, I think they just ruined the first 2 years of his career. So, but in Superflex, all right, he's got to be a first round pick. Playing it off the top of my head and imagining a little from day two, it's got to be Burrow, Tua, maybe CEH, then Herbert, or the other way around, and that gets us to 105, right? I would take, let's see, there's probably going to be 2 running backs I want over him tomorrow, hopefully, at least. Taylor Swift, Akers, maybe. I would already take Rager, Jefferson, Judy, Lamb. In Superflex, you can take an end of the first round swing on Love. I mean, you should, because quarterbacks have value, but I really don't think he's seeing the field anytime soon, unless there's a major trade coming, and I can't predict that crap. He's going to be someone that sits in your taxi squad with value, who's impossible to trade. And End of the first round, start of the second. But I don't want it. I don't want it clogging up my team. Eason, I predict he's a Patriot coming. If he's a Patriot, then I would want him over Love, probably. But I'm not a quarterback evaluator. Like, I don't know if Eason's genuinely better than Herbert, and so that Herbert's gonna beat his way through. And they're gonna trade Rodgers or bench Rodgers in his twilight. I don't. Not Herbert, sorry, Love. Herbert's clearly a top 4 pick. Damn. I don't know what my Slack sign is. See, everyone wants to talk on 3 different platforms, so I can never get into it. Like, DLF talks on Slack, and John Bosch likes to talk on Voxer. And I'm like, why can't we all just talk on Twitter, and then I'd be up to date on everything? Go see if anyone's awake at DLF. Jacob Eason, like, I'm rooting for him. We need more quarterback value than what Love is. Right now, the top 3 are going to, I think, have to go in the first 4 picks. Maybe a running back ahead of him. Maybe CEH ahead of him at this point. And Love is a pick I don't really want to make. I was more interested in Hundley later in Superflex, for example, because I kind of like that player. Went to Green Bay. That's why I was comparing him. But, like, you didn't have to pay late first, which is, I think, what you really have to do for a quarterback that went in the first round to a, productive team, good team. I don't want to say good at this point. That was just win, though. If Eason becomes a Patriot, I would have him over Love. I guess that's what I'm saying. If Eason goes to any team like that, I'd probably have him over Love. But that's first rate. Maybe I'm too emotional about it right now. Lots of messages here. But then again, I haven't read it in a week. Might as well bring this back. I gotta create a QB model and a way to do hit rates with quarterback. And I'll insert that in here. I really tried to balance running back with points per game. I spent about an hour fiddling around with that before I came on live, but it's really weird. Like, you have to come up with bins, and I couldn't find the right bin for points per game to really create anything that was helpful, like breakout age for wide receiver. Mainly because there was like a couple, like Josh Jacobs didn't get particularly high points per game, but was drafted in the first round. The first round's what mattered, not the points per game. That continually happens at running back. The 2 other running backs I could find in the first round with really low points per game, they also had at least top 24 seasons. So I was like, well, it's just not as concrete as breakout age, Had to reformat my breakout age table to do that thing, by the way, into a line by line, so it was easy to do a lookup on it. Sorry, nerding out, I know. But this is the raw data for it. And then I got my piddly little running back table over here. I had to go back in because I hadn't thought of, Henry Ruggs, and create a little section here for guys that have never broken out. I should really combine these. like breaking out at age 18 when you're at 20 and then 18 at 30 is different than 18 at 20 and then 19 at 30, if you know what I mean. Because I mean, what I'm thinking about is Henry Ruggs here. He didn't break out at 20, but a few people that didn't break out at 30 broke out. But that's not the same thing. Like if you couldn't even hit 20, then not hitting 30 is worse, if you know what I mean. Not hitting 30 isn't a bad thing, but not hitting 20, like that should be extra specially important, you know. And that's why you get weird things like this, because I haven't combined them that way. Like Henry Ruggs is 0% likely to get a top 12 or 24 season at 20%, but he's actually, 33% likely to get a top 24 season at 30% because no breakouts at that range are more common. Jets are going to take someone that people will probably overdraft. It's not Perriman anyway. It's Crowder, right? They still got Crowder. I'd have to go look. Man, this is working slow, and so is my internet. What's going on tonight? Everyone on talking about the draft? I can't imagine. It really sucked missing it, actually. It was kind of fun not knowing and getting to come back and see it all at once, but honestly, it kind of sucks. Who have I got as wide receiver one? Yeah, I got Crowder. Crowder's still there. No one in the top 24, but Crowder is a fantasy relevant guy. Perriman. I'm more excited about Greg Dortch. He might be my undrafted free agent of this year. He might be my Kendrick Bourne of 2019. Who knows? Demaryius Thomas is still there, man. Last year was really disappointing for him. Chris Herndon's probably the buy there. I know if he plays, right? Last year was awful, but you're just watching me. That makes me feel good and also nervous at the same time, J-Max. Appreciate that. Insomnia, yeah, and the height of the draft, that's bound to heighten that kind of thing. You want to come on? I'll send you the link. I got nothing else. All right. No, I don't want to know about Twitter. I want to go to Twitter. Thank you, Google. I have tomorrow off. I'm hoping to get on with the Dynasty Dummies and who is it? Someone else asked, and I like talking to people. Weirdly, Average Joes. I enjoyed that last year. They asked me on, but dummies get first choice. Obviously, dummies are the first choice, rather. All right, J Mike, you're invited. See if you got the guts. Stop sharing this screen thing. Greg Dortch plays for the Rams now? No, say it ain't so. Finally gets a shot and he's not there. Hey, buddy. How you doing?
Hey. How are you, Pedro?
I'm okay, man. It's a weird kind of mellow feeling after the draft by yourself. I haven't been able to talk to anyone about
it. Man, I am. How
was it?
It was a lot of fun to track, man. I did a lot of doing my best you impression. I had spreadsheets galore and writing a bunch of stuff down, taking notes, and trying to keep myself organized as we go through the weekend, just to see how my feelings change and how these picks are just making changes in my head and what stocks are doing. So it's been a lot of fun, and I am, for whatever reason, not sleepy, and I need to be. But it's good, man. And randomly, I was just looking at some draft stuff online, and I saw that you were live, and I was like, "What in the world is Pete doing on at 2:00 in the morning?" But here we are.
And I'm always up at this time.
Here we are. But you're not usually live at this point, right?
No, not normally.
Right.
But I said, and I was like, well, I'll just put some first thoughts out. And I thought I'd just do a 5-minute video saying, hey, look, CEH is number one. And then everyone was awake. I was like, oh, cool.
I did. I went ahead and about probably 12:30, just after midnight. I went ahead and recorded a dummy blitz because I was like, I can't sleep. Like, this will be a good thing to just be able to talk through the picks, see what happened. And I think more than anything, what I was most excited about this year is how the landing spots are really going to make people work. Like, it's not just a case where, oh, CD Lamb got the craziest landing spot. This is awesome. I'm definitely taking him number one now. Now it's actually making people think and putting people in a blender. And I really enjoy that process for Dynasty League. So this is going to be a fun season. This is going to be a fun rookie season, Peter.
Yeah, the offseason is kind of this process of simplifying everything and going, well, when AJ Brown goes to the Titans this year, I won't worry about the land. But you get a different problem. If you know what I mean, it's like it's not a Titan problem, it's an Amari Cooper problem. Yep. And it's been a while since we had to think that one through. And let's see, when's the last time that happened? I guess it's Godwin. Godwin going to Mike Evans.
Right.
That's a similar situation.
I'd say so. And then on top of it, you're looking and you think, okay, I don't think Dak can support that many awesome wide receivers or that many good wide receivers. And then you're also thinking, well, crap, he's getting Mike McCarthy, whose volume on pass attempts is going to be up there with well above league average too. So so many things to consider, and I've loved it. But as you went through the picks, what was your, besides Rager? I think Rager your favorite landing spot for like anyone in terms of
he's the one who got a bump. Not like I'm not going to go crazy. I already have it too.
Right.
So but I expected him to fall. I expected him not to be in the first round because people were saying that, and for him to be naturally fall a little bit, and then I pick him up late first. Second, maybe. Who knows? I was going to be really excited. The one mock draft I think I did with you, I got him in the second somewhere, somehow. And I was like, wow, yeah, I'll take that. But that's not going to happen now. And so I don't know. He's going to stay. Like, I can't see, he can't fall, which is a problem. I've put myself in this place where the draft can't make him fall because that's as good as it gets. Mm-hmm. But I already had him at 2. So what'd you do with that? Do I really bump him up over Lamb? Probably not, realistically, if I'm making ranks for other people. But like that heightened sense of I want Rager is like on a knife edge now. You know what I mean?
Right. And if we're talking just particularly with
it's not going to be easy anymore.
Right. And just with the draft, what you had been talking about and to some degree preaching about, like we're here now. So like we've opened the door to Rager not only being someone who can blow the ceiling off of your expectations and be someone, like you said, I don't want to just hit singles and doubles. Like I want to try to hit a home run with this pick, right? And now he gets into a situation that will allow him to be able to do so with a functional organization, quarterback in Carson Wentz who can get it done. Like everything, like the stars aligned. It felt like for Rager. Right. So
yeah, I felt great when I saw it. It's like the reverse. So I felt terrible when I saw Lamb, and now I'm feeling a little better. And then I felt great when I saw Rager, and now I'm feeling a little worse because I'm not going to get that value. And there is risk there. There is risk based on what happened in his last year. But yeah, I like it. Sorry, John's asked a good question here. Where do we expect Higgins, Mims, and Pittman to go? But he also pointed out this, and this is one I actually have an immediate answer to. Goff was able to support 3 wide receivers, and Dak could. And it's a really good way of thinking. But let me point out, he didn't support 3. He did for a little while, and then one of them went away. And then only one of them was a top 24 wide receiver, and just Josh Reynolds didn't make it. Didn't replace it. So he didn't really. What I would say is the only person who's ever supported 3 top 24 wide receivers is Peyton Manning, and he did it twice. You can use the Rams as the other time that's kind of happened, but it wasn't Jared Goff. And that's the thing. When we get into these small samples, it's hard to know. It really wasn't. It's not about the quarterback. I mean, when it was Peyton Manning, okay, that was about Peyton Manning. But I think that was more about the offense, the success they were having, and the changes the head coach made there. But he seems to have stuttered a little bit since then. So maybe he was just enjoying, that first year, no one knows what I'm going to do, kind of a bump. Like, who was it? The Eagles got Chip Kelly. You got that bump as well. Coaches can have that effect. Like not Ryan Griffin, Robert Griffin, and Kaepernick. When they don't see it coming, it's easier to stick the knife in. And coaches get that bump sometimes too. Like, I still think the Rams are good. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think they're as good as we maybe hope they could sustain. But anyway, my answer to that is yes. Dak is better than Goff, clearly, but I don't think it's as much about the quarterback unless you're Peyton Manning. But I think they killed and that was my overriding feeling looking at that draft. It's why do GMs? I know they don't have to care, and it's a business, but it's actually detrimental to your capital where you're investing. You've got so many positions you have to improve, and to go, you know what? I'm just going to fuck this kid's career. That's what I'm going to do with my first round pick. That's the main result. Like, it doesn't matter. It's all going to come from CeeDee Lamb instead of Gallup and maybe 2 other guys. Like, that doesn't make you win better. You're going to be getting roughly the same. It's great for fantasy. It's not that much better for your team. You've got cornerback problems. You've got an offensive line that can always use improving. You've got so many things you could do with your pick. And instead, the main result is Michael Gallup's never going to be – he's never going to get to be one of those guys. That's what I think is going to happen. The Tyrell Williams, Cameron Meredith, and he really – like, it wasn't water thin. That guy honestly played that well. It wasn't a high regression likelihood in his touchdowns. He didn't get lucky. That guy just proved it. And I've seen this like 3 times over the last 4 years. It's just now bad for him. So why would a GM go, well, fuck that guy? And I know he's not thinking about Michael Gallup, but like, and I'm just a nerd, right? I'm a freaking nerd in a basement. And even that's very, very clear to me. You haven't improved your team greatly. CeeDee Lamb's going to be great. But you have hurt that kid's career. That kid can't prove it in year 2. That kid can't be one of those lucky 4th round guys who actually gets a contract like Diggs. That path is now almost completely closed to him. And that really frustrates me because I know it's not actually a family, but they talk so much about that shit. It's like, if you cared about any guys on your roster, your teams would actually probably benefit better from your decisions.
Yeah, and I guess even to counter that point to some degree, because I agree with what you're saying in principle. The question just becomes, and I wish you would have seen it, Jerry Jones, as he's making this pick, as he sees that CeeDee Lamb is available to him, he was grinning his face off, right? Yeah, he knew what had happened.
It's a little silly for the other teams to have left him fall. That's
no question. No question. And with that being said, when you're obviously if you're team building, right, then the net positive of the team far outweighs me worrying about the one guy that I want to try to push forward into the fantasy stratosphere to some degree. But even with that said, I think what he saw was, and again, what do I know? I think what he saw was, hey, we have this guy CeeDee Lamb graded really high. wow, they keep taking wide receivers not named CeeDee Lamb in front of him. This is crazy. Oh crap,
Right.
CeeDee Lamb made it to us at 17. This is preposterous. We have to take him. And then all of a sudden you have all these
Yeah.
possibilities with McCarthy coming in. And I think Jerry just saw green grass everywhere and touchdowns and scoreboards being lit up and all sorts of craziness when CD was still there.
Yeah, and it's not like it's not good. Like you don't not take Calvin Johnson because you have a Kenny Golladay, right? You know, to reverse the timeline there a little bit. Yeah, I get it, but like it's so frustrating. Like so few players can actually. What's fantasy douche Michael Zingoni's always quoting at me that talent's fairly level, but there are slight spikes, and to be a guy from that position to spike above other players at that level, it's really rare. That's why they're always making fun of me with my undrafted free. Like, it's really rare for any guy, not a first round pick, let alone outside the top 3, to go, hey, look, you guys are all wrong. Like, he had to work his ass off for that, man. And he's got a really rare ability and talent that's now going to go wash because teams being what they were, like Addison was like, they'll trade him. It's like, why would you make another team better? They'd rather just tank his career. Like, okay, his career is going to go down, but no one else is going to use him against me. Why wouldn't they think that way about it?
But from
it's frustrating from a guy who has to spend so long valuing draft capital when what I really want is for Michael Gallup's story. And like, that's the fun. And that's not the blue collar story, but there's no way that kid hasn't done it all by himself. Fuck the teams, fuck the coaches. Like, that kid came from a position where no one's handing you nothing. And they say that about everyone, but that's not true. They hand volume to players that they want to succeed all the time.
Yep.
That kid didn't get none of that, and like that's what you do. I mean, it's just really, and it is rare. And half the teams in the NFL would really benefit. Like, I know Tyrell Williams hasn't been a top 24 wide receiver again, but the Raiders have been really lucky to have him. And you didn't get that from the draft. You didn't get that from first round picks over and over and over again since he broke out.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know. I don't like it. But you're right. CeeDee Lamb is not a bad choice. Let's face it.
Yep.
You don't take a CeeDee Lamb.
It's hard to pass on him at 17, and you're Jerry Jones. I know you were talking about the previous question that was up there, the Higgins, Mims, Pittman. I'm just looking at the early part of the second round, and even right out the gate, like a team like Cincinnati. Cincinnati may have eyes for one of those guys. You're looking at the Giants. A lot of people have thought that the Giants would be up for taking another wide receiver, or even New England at 37. So I think early on, you've got a few different destinations for one of those 3 guys. And then you even get into Miami again at 39. Jacksonville's going to be back on the clock. It could be the second round could be lots of fireworks, at least early on for those 3 guys.
Yeah, I don't know who has what picks. I really don't pay that much attention to
I just have it pulled
the draft, trying to predict everything else. Right. But go back to New York. You said, Crowder's the number 1 there right now. You got to think someone like that falls there. If they're trying to replace Robbie Anderson, thinking on their level, it's even Hamler would be a great pick, and he's going to be available wherever their next pick is.
Who do you like the most of those 3, Peter?
Out of those 3, the Higgins, Mims, and Pittman, I like Mims best. Okay. Mims, Higgins, Pittman. I know, very standard, right? I think most people say like. I don't mind Pittman. Like, I have fun with Travis a bit over him, but he looks good. He looks fine. I just, if you got to make decisions, and then Pittman didn't do the things I like to place him over those guys. I do have worries about Mims. Like, he's had all of them, but he is that late declare. But he's a type of late declare I don't mind, but it's still in the back of my mind, where they declare after 4 years or at a certain age, or the senior, or whatever they say. Higgins, Peter, I still like my comment for him.
Go ahead. No, keep going. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, my comp for Higgins was like, and I don't do a lot of comps, but he's like an upscale Devin Funchess. So, like, there's not a lot of teams that guy can't land on and be useful. which is positive. But also, I'm saying I'm not seeing a hell of a lot of upside. I think he's good. Like, what Pittman truthers might want him to be, but Pittman could be that too. But we're starting to level out there. What were you going to say?
Well, I know Zach's a big fan. Zach Reed, Dynasty Dummies, big brother over there, which also, Peter, I'm super excited. I forgot that you were one of the people that are going to be with us tomorrow. So that'll be dope. I know he's a big fan of Pittman. And I'm curious what happens if you give off, and I don't know how quickly you did that, which I loved your spreadsheet in terms of their percentage likelihood to some degree as to whether they'll finish top 12, 24, that type of thing. If you give all three of those dudes round 2 capital, I'm curious how what those numbers bear out for those guys. I'd imagine that Higgins would have the higher likelihood because of his earlier production and things of that nature. But Higgins is someone I feel like can definitely go earlier because of the fact of what he offers for teams, which obviously is that early production that he showed out in college, but also the ability to get down the field and be big and play big. Mims, I don't know that he always plays big, even though I love Mims. Huge fan of old sticky paws, Mr. Denzel Mims. But those three guys I feel like are all going to end up going in the second. But I think tomorrow's I think that what most fantasy owners are going to be watching for, where are the running backs going? We just saw CEH break the iceberg right there at the end of the first, getting the landing spot of all landing spots. People on Twitter talking about whether or not he's RB1 at this point. And some people are saying, hey, you're crazy for that. Some people are saying, hey, this is the best pass catching running back in the best passing offense. Like it's game over. I think it was actually a Graham Barfield that said something to that effect. Where the running backs go, this is kind of where I feel like our first rounds for dynasty leagues are really going to be solidified with what happens tomorrow, particularly round 2.
Well, like you said, happened with wide receiver last year. I think the dam being broken there, like you said, for running back, we're probably going to see one pretty early, which will be exciting. And you're right. That's what we kind of have to watch for now. I'm still interested in Tyler Johnson. I'm really interested in what happens to him. I'm really interested in what happens to
Brian Edwards.
KJ Hamler. But yeah, Brian Edwards too. I got my eye out for it. Hang on a second. Let me, I got to share my screen again to do this.
Okay.
All right. As if they
you are
draft
so good.
Around,
you are so good. It's absurd.
If they drafted him around 10, and this took me 48 minutes, by the way, because I had 45 minutes before I had to leave for work, so it took me 48. But again, that's why I'm not saying it doesn't have a flaw in it somewhere. If someone notices one, let me know. But yeah, obviously where Mims hit it, I really recommend looking at one or the other because, like I said, I haven't combined them, but. Like Mims continues to have the highest hit rate. Again, he just did really well at his age. That's his age-adjusted production working for him there. And hitting 30% at 19 is just really impressive. Yeah. And Pittman's comes in second, actually, over Higgins because Higgins never hit that 30%. But again, where I'm mostly prospects of the 20%. And the honest reason for that is I don't want to lose the Doug Baldwins of the world just so that I'm extra secure and finding the others, and that's kind of what you do. Like Doug Baldwin looks bad at a 30% threshold, like Higgins does there. So I kind of like knowing the 20%. But yeah. Anyway, it goes Mims, Pittman, then Higgins according to the hit rate thing if they go in round 2. But I kind of still like Higgins a little bit more.
Same. Man. Golly.
It's nice to see him, man. I really thought I'd be all by myself.
It's good to see you as well, man. Like I said, when I saw you were live, I was blown away. And then when you were like, yeah, you want to come on? I was like, yeah. So wait, is Doomsday scenario, is that good or bad?
I was trying to figure that out. Doomsday because we all have to take him, like he's a hero that can save us, or like you have to take him and you don't want to. Like I say, I think he's got to be the 1.01. My first reaction to that is literally I don't want it, but it kind of has to be there for value. I mean, I don't know. You can make an argument to say you don't have to. Don't get me wrong. There are lots of good ones, but for anything. But I think realistically, when we boil it down to what matters, he's got everything that matters now. So if you trade back, if you don't want it, but I think he has to be, and like we said, yeah. Oh, why are you tiny? Get back up here, big boy. Jonathan Taylor and Swiss draft spot could be just as positive in terms of landing spot, and that'll make it more of a top 3 again. But it has to be really good. It can't be. I know where would be bad right now. It can't be Minnesota, right?
Right. And I just found that tweet from Brett Coleman, and it is a good thing for CEH.
It's a good thing, yeah.
Reading it in context, yeah.
He said the AFC was over. I don't think the running back makes a difference there. I think Mahomes is just going to own that division no matter what. But yeah, sure, another weapon can't hurt, right?
Like I said,
who do you think the quarterback one next year, by the way?
You mean for drafts, or what do you mean?
No, who's going to finish projections? Who would you think is going to be the best scoring quarterback next year?
It's going to be hard for me to choose somebody besides Mahomes.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
That's the boring answer, but I just don't like.
No, I was arguing with someone over projections, and they were like, "No, we got to have Lamar Jackson." I'm like, "That's the opposite of what you meant to do. He had a great year last year. You expect a little regression. Way too much of it was rushing. He's great. Don't get me wrong, but you don't expect quarterback 1 next year." And he was like, "No, it's got to be the defenses are going to be easier. His wide receivers are going to be better." I'm like, "Really?" So I was just wondering what you thought.
I'm curious. I'm curious what could we lean into that Dallas thing a little bit, and with the increased passing volume that we think is to come, could we make a case for Dak to be QB1?
Yeah, you can make the case. He's been a top 5 QB twice. People forget. Yeah. Dak's great. It's always great value, and it's probably going to be a good value this year. I don't think of you can. You just love the team. You like him. It's fair to say because he's been top 5. But that wouldn't be where I would lean projections-wise, thinking who predictably has the ceiling. Because, again, I'm not expecting Lamb to come in and be that straight away because he's rookie. He's just rookie. You don't – when you're leaning on the mean, that's not where you get it. I do think there's between Mahomes and Jackson for some. If I was going to predict a dark horse, it would be, I guess, Baker. I guess Kyler.
Kyler's a good one. Yeah.
And Felix here says, John said Dak and Kyler was in that list too, to be fair. Yeah. So we're kind of at the common names. Felix Studio, is Damon Williams still a goal line back? Damon Williams is still going to retain a role. Yeah. That might be the Miles Sanders problem for Clyde Edwards-Helaire, right?
Yes, without question.
I still think he's going to be the guy, but it could be more of a Miles Sanders. And he's a good prospect if you're looking for running backs to target, by the way. I was listening to the DLF podcast, and they were doing a draft before the draft. And they were talking about how Miles Sanders could increase in his role and be that next person to jump up into the top 12. And I was like, it's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
I still see top 12, 24 more, but I would think he could do it a lot more than the other year 2 guys. I don't think David Montgomery is going to get there, for example. Miles Sanders.
If David Montgomery is going to get there, then he's doing it on the Jordan Howard route, right? So it's going to be the 250 plus carries and hoping that he bumps his head on the goal line several times. But
I think if David Montgomery gets there, it's because Allen Robinson's shouldered that team again. Because
that's fair.
So he's gonna have to throw the ball, catch the ball, create the goal line opportunities for David Montgomery. He's gonna do it all, and I don't think he can. I think he's gonna be good. Allen Robinson's amazingly good. with the suckiest. Like he's like the anti Brandon Cooks. That's what he's like, the reverse of Brandon Cooks. He keeps getting new quarterbacks and it keeps sucking. Like, poor guy.
This question from Felix is interesting because it is one of those things where I think about the fact that it's still a possibility that Damian Williams outtouches CEH, and maybe CEH as the year goes on can grow into a role or go into a greater role perhaps. But if Damian Williams is healthy all year, I could still see him outtouching CEH.
Yeah, I could see it. I really, where my head's in projections right now. What my I think the median projection is CEH gets a really good top 24 season. Damian Williams is like a top 36, 46 guy. So you're looking at spike weeks where he gets those goal line touches or whatever, like usable, and everyone forgets about him, so he's a value. But he may well do enough. What I'm saying is the median is probably he does enough to keep CEH from having that full role. I do think that's really reasonable, which means it could always counterbalance, like you say, and go towards Damian Williams. So it's not probably. I think his draft stock was rising a little bit because the Chiefs, because he was a guy, and so now it'll probably come down a little bit. And you can still buy into, you can hedge that. It's almost a hedge, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So I kind of like that. Damian Williams is now a buy again instead of a hold or a sell.
I feel like he was
the way I play running backs. You always got to do the opposite of what you think is going to happen. Running backs all about hedging on it. Like, I hate this guy. I better go buy him.
Yep.
What?
Yep. It's like, I hate this guy, and everybody on Twitter hates this guy. Yeah, this is a good time to go buy. Great.
Damn. Now I got to have him on my damn run. Son of a gun.
Raheem Mostert he's in that class as well.
We are in that stage where we can start speculating. Like, I was really trying to get someone to give me good buy count, because most of my teams, they need running backs. They don't need wide receivers. I'm good, set. I normally turn tight end around after a year or two, and quarterbacks, whatever. So I'm looking for running backs, and it's really difficult for me to fixate on a guy because that's the way I trade. I don't know how you do it. If I'm going to trade, I'm going to go out and see if I can trade for this guy in all my leagues. I don't go through my leagues looking for good trades. I want this guy, so I'm going to go send offers on him. I don't know if that's good or bad, but it's kind of the way I think about it. And I was really struggling. Like, for a while, I thought about sending out offers on Darius Geis, but I just couldn't get excited enough. Mm-hmm. Like, his ADP value is low, but his trade value is high. He's one of those guys. Or it felt high to me.
Yeah, because remember, we even when we did that mock 2 years ago, when Darius Geis went 102, like people still are hanging on to, and I think it was Adam Wilde who was talking about this for DLF, and he was talking about how people still see Geis as being the blue chip prospect that he was coming into the league, and similar to the N'Keal Harry problem, like I don't want to lose everything that I sunk into him with the pick in the first place. Like, I might as well wait and see what happens, because we're still early enough and it's still possible. And there's no. No, I think that's what people think.
J Mike.
No, that's what people think. Because I'm not a Geis. I'm not in the Geis camp any longer.
See, I never was, and that's why I started, like, is this a guy people hate now? So I can go buy him. And, like, I was never really coming. He didn't have a lot of receiving in college. It's so simple. And then he fell in the draft. Like, the draft is almost where it's blue chip faded. But, like, he's still younger than some of the guys that are going to be drafted tomorrow. Like, that's a weird thing. He might be, like, he's faded, but he still hasn't caught up to some of these rookies in age. It's like, what the hell? He came in really young. He's been injured. He hasn't done badly.
Mm-hmm. And I still want him.
Injuries are a big thing. And so there was enough of a question mark. I was like, maybe him, but I really have a hard time talking myself into running backs because I don't know what works outside of volume. By the time they get it, it's like everyone knows. You know what I mean?
Yep.
What are you gonna say?
No, you were talking just about buy lows or guys to try to target. I don't know how you feel about these guys, but just there's a really interesting group of running backs that I have tiered here in my futures list here. I don't know what the price is right now for guys like Sony Michel, Marlon Mack, or like I said before, Raheem Mostert. But that level of guy who, depending upon what happens in day two, if those teams aren't bringing in significant just competition for them, those could be guys who could bump their heads again on way more work than anticipated.
And this is all first, just to reiterate the title of the video. It's just first thoughts. Like, I'm going to listen to a whole bunch of podcasts tomorrow. They're going to get underexcited and overexcited and going to be like, no, I was wrong. CEH of the world. And Justin Jefferson, top 12. Let's go. So, but I try to stay muted and build up. It's like I completely tune out opinions and thoughts. Like the 2 weeks before the draft, I'm taking nothing in, which is bad because that tends to be when, like, Graham Barfield likes to drop his yards created shit. I'm like, that's really good data, but I'm full. And it tends to be where the really bad takes come in because people start tilting a little, me included. So I try and stop putting them out and stop taking them in. But it's time to start again, I guess, because we have to reassess everything now with the draft. So, it's time to see. But I start off as a pessimist. I think I'm an optimist, but as a naysayer, I start off low on things, and I have to work myself back into encouragement. And that's the weird thing about Jalen Reagor. Like, I'm not sure what to do when something's just overwhelmingly better than I thought it was going to be. I'm like, no, I meant to hate this.
What am I supposed to do with this? And in the chat, and I'll leave you be, Peter. But John O2 in the chat, he said Andy Reid said that he, I presume CEH, was better than Brian Westbrook. So if he is coming out the gate with that high of praise for CEH, Coach speak alert. It just makes you feel good about CEH. But yeah,
it's gonna be people are gonna love him. And they should. Like I say, I think it's 101 right now as it is. John, the problem with this is I've never liked Ronald Jones even a little bit. I don't see it at all. I don't get it, and I'm just happy to be wrong on it. And that's one of the things I'm just going to keep rolling over, even when everyone starts hating him. But you're right. He's one of the guys who doesn't look like. I guess he's going to get competition, or do we think
he's got to? He's got to. Their depth chart says so. Behind him is was it Daria Gumbawale, and then there's literally one
Peyton
more
Barber.
person. Peyton Barber's in Washington. He's in Washington.
Oh, really? He moved on?
Yeah. So literally, Washington's got a huge full backfield. Peyton Barber, J.D. McKissick, Adrian Peterson, Darius Geis, and I think one more guy I can't think of. But yeah, there's 3 running backs right now on the Bucs roster, so they've got to pick up someone somewhere at some point in the draft. Just hoping that it's not too early because I'm still a Rojo fan. But in all likelihood, they'll be one of those teams that'll take one here in the next couple rounds.
Yeah. Well, there's some good ones falling. That's not good news for Ronald Jones, then, actually.
Yes, it's very bad news.
This is possibly the worst case scenario for Ronald Jones right now. Oh, the 3 best running backs still available in round 2. This is going well. When
did they pick? Let me look. Because they
weirdest
traded
one
up
I can
today.
think of. The one, the scenario I still don't. Sorry, I thought you were going to look it up so you wouldn't be ready. But it's Jerry McNichols. That one still blows my head. That guy apparently just could not get his head around an NFL playbook. That's the only thing that seems to make sense. What did you have on hand that I thought you had to look at?
I was just trying to find Tampa Bay where they pick tomorrow, and they pick at pick number 45. So obviously the second round starts with Cincinnati at 33. And today Tampa Bay Tampa Bay traded up. They traded up one spot with the 49ers earlier in the draft. to be able to, and it was one spot. So originally, Tampa Bay was, oh crap, how did that go? Like 13 or 14. Anywho, Tampa Bay traded up to get the tackle. They gave up a 4th rounder to do so, to San Francisco. So they'll be out of at least 1 4th round pick. So they'll have their 2 and their 3, and they'll be taking running back at some point. Yeah.
45 feels like a good running back range when you think about it. You're out of the incredibly valuable picks. Second day contracts are worth a little bit less. You got to think at least one of those 3. What is it? It's Jonathan Taylor, Swift, and Akers still on the board.
And Dobbins.
And no, if one of those guys doesn't fall to 45, then we're going to have a really running back heavy start of the second round.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Either way, so either one of those guys is falling to them, whether they pick him or not, or they're all going to get, their great landing spots pretty soon. So either way, it should be a interesting first 15 picks, though. So, or what is it, 13 picks?
So good.
12? 12.
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome.
Well, I'm off, so I actually get to enjoy some other. What I asked you earlier, 45 sounds like a Swift range. It really does. Yep. Swift, Taylor, Akers, one of them's going to be there. What was the draft like? Like, what were you looking at? Like, I couldn't find any feed of it at all when I got home. So, like, were you just looking at Goodell sitting at home booing him, and then occasionally a pic flashed across the screen?
So it was a case where Goodell was standing. He was at his house, but in the background, there was a larger TV they'd have the fans, like almost like a Zoom that looked like of all the fans of a specific team that was picking. And like the presentation actually looked really good. And then they had the 3 guys from the NFL Network, and then 3 or 4 guys from ESPN doing the joint kind of, breaking down the picks and whatnot. Sadly, I found out Todd McShay wasn't there because he has the coronavirus. They mentioned that before the broadcast. Like, oh yeah, Todd's not going to be joining us this evening. He's actually battling coronavirus. It's like, whoa, crap, that was that was heavy.
Just a brief reminder, thank you.
Yeah, it was weird, but the presentation actually looked really good. I think they did a really good job. The cameras and whatnot that they have set up in the kids' homes, it looked good. It was good. It was a good product. It was a really good product.
No, they keep social commentary keeps talking about how we're going to get used to some stuff during this, and so some things will permanently change. Like, I think that they're predicting like the end of movie theaters. I think this might be a boom for them because everyone's going to get out the house. Like, what do we do outside? Mm-hmm. Let's go to a movie. I think actually, get to watch a movie with a group of people is a different experience. I think we might miss it. But I do think there's some things like shopping was already primarily online, and now, if nothing else, that's been heightened. I think it really might encourage that. But I was wondering if this would spur changes in the draft going forward, because if they get it right and things go well, there's so much you can do with all this technology that is beneficial, provides a better, more controlled, good show that they can edit on. Like, you don't get someone swearing accidentally or falling over because you have so much control on what's on the screen at any one time. Or you can go to the best reactions a little bit easier when you're controlling all the feeds and it's not just everyone in one room. So you have to switch from one main camera. I think it might, I like the idea of the online draft. There's always a big conversation if you want to be in the big room or at home with your grandma. And now you take that away. It's like you can be wherever you want. And they get to choose their own comfy setting, or all the players get to be where they're comfortable. It's interesting. I know it might.
And seeing all these people with their families, and then their families acting crazy and just doing witch stuff. Right. It was a really unique broadcast, and it was enjoyable. I enjoyed it.
As amazing as the draft and the draft room is, that's something special. You get to see the family. Yeah, really, I imagine it's got to be something different, but just as special. But yeah, man. I know. I guess we'll see if it changes much, but I think it could. What was I going to say about that? I actually I don't know if this is weird or anything, But like I think about it with my shit all the time. Like you're not seeing what someone's life looked like because they set up a set and they've made it look good, or at least to a certain extent. Mine just looks like a room because it is, but at least like there's not shit hanging over shit. The last shirt I worn isn't thrown over the lamp, kind of a thing. That's the improvement I've made. But like it's weird to see inside people's living rooms. Literally, it's like I like seeing where people live. I don't know what it's like. That's not normally. That's a new thing. Like with live streaming and going live on your phone and stuff, you see like the background of people's lives, and usually it was just like the background of a set or the background of a show, or you never got that. And you're not getting deep into, but I kind of like seeing that kind of context around people. It's like, oh, that's what Joe Burrow's mom and dad's living room looks like. Is that not kind of cool? I don't know.
Very
it's just
very
weird.
much.
God dang it. I thought that was pretty interesting. Feels more personal.
Yeah, I don't know that they would do it again just because they probably miss out on so much of the money for people. Like draft events and all that jazz, but they've done a really good job with it. Hopefully, day 2 is good. Hopefully,
it's not going to stay like this, but I thought it might create some changes, if you know what I mean. I don't know. Mm-hmm. We'll see. But are you feeling sleepy yet? Sound like you want to get off. You've tried twice.
Well,
you can leave whenever you want, man.
I have to just because I have to work. Sadly,
I know.
And I don't. I mean, not sadly. I'm thankful for my job, but I mean, like. I have to at least attempt to try to get some kind of stuff. Otherwise I'll be useless. No, but thank you for having me and thank you for chopping it up with me. This is good. And again, I cannot wait. I cannot wait until tomorrow till we can chop it up some more with all of our Dummies family. So it'll be a good time.
Right. What time and where, J Mike? I don't even know.
Well, you know what? I don't know when round 2 starts. Let me try to find that real quick because I don't know.
I imagine it'll be tweeted out absolutely on all of our accounts. Hey, we're about to start this thing now. If you could please come and watch us.
I think back will set it up because it'll be a big Zoom because it will have more than 6 people, and he got the clearance for that to be able to leverage that. So it'll be through that, but I just don't know what time. Oh, here we go. We look forward to seeing you all back here Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. Rounds 2 and 3, so I guess right around 7 p.m. tomorrow. Ooh, Felix! I see you, Felix.
Yeah, Felix with the speed there.
There you go. Nice.
He just chimes in to provide interesting questions and information every now and again.
Appreciate you, Felix. Good stuff, man.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I'm here if you get not sleepy, man.
Are you staying up some more?
Probably for a little while. I mean, what's the point of me going to bed right now? If I can find something to do, I'm going to be doing it. Or let me know and I'll get up. I'll get up for you, J Mike. Like, I'll get up and just talk with you all night long. Then right, you'll go to bed tired.
I'm just gonna be a mess. I'm tomorrow's gonna be a 2 cup of coffee kind of day. I can already feel it, so it'll be good.
You gotta be only 2, man. I don't know what's wrong with me, man. People say that about sugar and caffeine all the time. Like I consume all of that shit pretty constantly, and it's never been like, oh, I can't sleep now. Like, what's wrong with my metabolism, J Mike? Then again, I am up at 3 a.m. as if it's nothing. So but I don't know. Yeah, I was going to say, you have to be careful now. You get into that stage of the night where you're going to look and it's going to be harder to wake up and do my day than just stay up. So you best go and get some sleep.
That's so true.
I've hit that point where if I go to sleep now, there's no way I'm waking up in an hour and I'm going to miss work. So I may as well just stay up. I've been there.
That's too true. Too true. All right, man. Be well. Thanks again, man.
You too, man. Great to talk to you.
Good to talk to you. Be well.
And he's gone like that. A shooting star in my night. No, that's great. I thought I was going to be on here for 5 minutes, and I've been talking to Felix, John, J Mike. Who else? It was Crossover came on for a little while. I really appreciate you guys, man. It's always nice to know. It's nice to bounce off. And Hannah. And then J10, he's the one who asked about Jacob Eason. Like, it's always nice to bounce thought. I didn't think I was going to get to. It was really nice to talk to you guys. Appreciate you. Hope you're all, like J Mike, about to get some sleep because we're going to need it for tomorrow. I think it's going to be, let's face it, day 2 is always the best day. It's where most of the excitement goes. Our favorite sleepers, our favorite guys outside the first round. Like some of my favorite prospects in this class are still there. Tyler Johnson, KJ Hamler, I've already mentioned. I'm really interested to see if Eno Benjamin can pull off a day 2. It'd be a surprise, I think, from my vague understanding of expected draft capital. But I really like that guy as prospect. I don't know him, obviously. So I'll be interested to see if any of those guys come off the board tomorrow. Yeah. I appreciate it. I better get out of here too, unless J Mike messages me and says, I still can't sleep, Pete, and I need to talk more fantasy football, then I'll be back. Outside of that, I will see you guys tomorrow. I am going to be talking with the Dynasty Dummies during their live feed, unless they say no. Like, that's my hope. That's my dream. They hold the keys to that. DLF did a round 1. I'm not sure they're doing a day 2. But any live chat I can get in tomorrow, I'm going to try and do. Well, that was weird. But I also have to take my car back to the mechanic because it's still broken. Also, my son's got to go to the dentist. I got to do a few life things tomorrow. Like, I get a day off, and so there's a lot to actually fit in that day. But mostly I'm going to be trying to get on live chat, so you'll probably see me around. I hope so. Probably wearing this shirt. That's Crossroads, right? Appreciate you. I'm going to get out of here. Thanks very much, and I will talk to you pretty much all day tomorrow. Stay tuned to the feed.